Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are you today or this evening? It's Saturday morning here in Australia, and I know that you're heading into your weekend regardless of where you live. You're either heading into your weekend or you're beginning it right now, like me. We've got a fairly dynamic month coming up in September. Astrologically, we've got the new moon in Virgo. And of course, around mid-month, we've got a full moon in Pisces, and also that is in the constellation of Phoenix. So I feel intuitively that we're going to be getting information that we need this month. I feel that we're going to be noticing what is happening around us. As we know, Virgo is a sign where we see the Virgo people see the details. They're very exact. They are quite intuitive as well. Often there's a misconception that Virgo people are very methodical and plodding, but that's not it at all. They see the details because they are quite gifted, I think, intuitively and using their psychic abilities as well. They're very switched on. They notice what is perhaps in the corner. If they walk into a room, they will scan that room. They will notice what is there that others may not notice. So we've got this energy coming forward this month that we're waking up in a way. For those that may have not been taking notice, they might have been asleep at the wheel a bit. They're actually going to be waking up and noticing exactly what's going on around them. At that time, then we're likely to see information coming forward to us as well, particularly around the middle of the month when we have the moon in Pisces. That's this information is the full moon in Pisces is going to bring forward revelations and that are going to create change. So this month is all about noticing what's around, really being quiet and humble with that information that is received. Waking up and making decisions as the month goes on, because when that full moon goes into Pisces, you're getting that transformational energy. September is a key month everywhere. No matter where you live globally, it's going to be key. In the UK, we have the constitutional crisis with the shutting down of the Parliament. You can expect through September, based on the readings that I've done on the UK, that there's likely to be information coming forward that has been hidden, and there's going to be action taken. When I look at that constellation, that Phoenix constellation, I think of the mythical bird of rising out of the ashes. And so this is where the transformation is that's going to come this month. It's almost as if we're going to rise up and take the action that we need. But it will be very considered action. It will be based on the right information. It will be based on our thought, our deep thinking, our noticing of the details, our understanding of the details, but more importantly, our processing of the details. In the US, my readings in the last few months have pointed to September being a really key month. If you look at my reading for the US for the month, we see around mid-September, mid to late September, information coming forward that is really game changing. I want to go back to Italy, actually. So things, democracy is undergoing quite a journey in Italy. There was the rise of the far right, almost that fascist movement, and it has been repressed and stopped, halted by a coalition between the centre-left and Italy's right-wing party, not far-right party, but right-wing party and the centre-left have joined to form a coalition to stop this march of a fascist movement in Italy. In January, when we had the rise of the far right, particularly across Europe, if you go back to my 2019 predictions, I actually very gamely, bravely predicted that there would be a swing back from this far right, nationalist, populist, fascist kind of thinking. And the reason that we've now got that swing back is because of what we have seen in the first 6 months of this year. We have seen an abuse of power. We have seen the elites being rewarded, the promises not being kept, multiple levels of society suffering because the governments aren't governing for us all. There are those that are being left out. And they are suffering. And then we've also seen cruel policies, and I make no mistake about this. In the US, we have seen a policy that would deport children that are having to rely on who are seriously ill. And so for the first 6 months, we were witnessing this. What's happening now in September, getting back to that waking up. We're not asleep at the wheel anymore. We're demanding more. We're looking at the information coming forward, and we are making decisions. And so around the middle of the month, we're going to see something coming forward that will be undeniable, and it will be transformational. So in your individual personal life, again, I feel that the first part of the month will be spent in, to a degree, in introspection, in examining information, sifting through the details, processing that information, and making decisions as we move through the month about critical things for you. These aren't minor matters that you're examining. You actually are going to be making some significant decisions this month. So I'm going to pull some cards. I'm using my Universal Golden Tarot. I also, at the end of the reading, want to pull some numerology cards as well to see where we are at with this personal and collective change that we are going through. So, September, new moon in Virgo. New moon in Virgo, moving into a full moon around mid-month. I think it's September the 13th, 14th. A new full moon in Pisces, the sign of Pisces, the dreamer. Okay, transformation. All right, so we've got two things that have, three cards that have fallen out. We've got the Four of Swords. This is a retreat card. So this is the energy of the far right, this fascist movement is retreating. And I feel that that retreat is going to gain momentum. I know that is the opposite of retreat. We're just going to see this backward movement now as the months unfold, as this year unfolds, and moving into the next year, because we've got this movement here. We're moving away from what we see as troubled shores. I in my lifetime, I do not remember. I know I'm examining things at the micro level and the macro level very closely, but in my lifetime, I don't remember as much instability as what we're seeing now, as much shockingness, shall I say. And of course, as far as our climate crisis and these natural events, we're seeing a destruction, which I feel is has quickened across the earth. So we've got this. Really, it's a necessary retreat. It's a necessary movement back towards sanity in a way. And we've got the Knight of Wands. We are going to be making decisions, making plans about those critical things in our lives. based on the information that's coming to us. So it's not actually a rebirth, but we're preparing for new ways of doing things. So what are the conditions, the global conditions of this month? What are the global conditions of this month? This new moon in Virgo, moving to a full moon in Pisces around the middle of the month, transformational energies, information coming forward, decisions that have to be made. What are the conditions? What are the conditions globally for September? All right, so let's have a look at. Okay, so we've got this information coming forward. It's actually information that's undeniable. So again, this is why we're waking up. That we can't turn away from it anymore. It's in our face. Whether whether it's to do with climate, or whether it's to do with tax cuts for the elite, or multi-billionaires paying very little tax. Whatever you like to remember or recall or face, that's what we're doing. We're actually facing that information. It's a truth that's inescapable. It's inescapable and it's in our face. It's challenged though by the hangman. Unfortunately, this energy is really when we're not progressing. We're kind of stuck in the mud, but there's a reason why we're stuck in the mud. We're actually being called upon to look at things. What happens when this person is in this position, can't escape, is forced to look at things from another perspective, and this is the wake up call that I feel is coming through in September. We are being challenged to look at things in a different way. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Swords. Again, all this truth emerging. So you can expect information in that first part of the month in September. Releases of information that, while they might not be absolutely shocking, they're going to all contribute to the bigger picture, to this the decisions that we're facing the facts. That's what we're doing. Now, in the past, there's been enough of us. It's been said on my channel, when will change happen? Why is this happening? When enough of us want change, then change happens. And I do feel that this is the Ace of Cups represents both the intention for change, but also the emotion around what has happened globally, even in the last 6 months. Two aces here. Again, these energies moving through these transformation brings forward new starts. Pardon me, my throat chakra has been playing up the last few days. So what is the potential for the future? What is this month all about? We are laying the seeds. We're sowing the seeds for this expansion and a new level of cooperation as well. We've got the Lovers in the immediate future. And so I do feel this is the governments. We're looking very, very closely at our governments, and we're deciding whether or not we're going to be in step with them, whether we want to support them. Our leadership is being put to the test at this time. The King of Wands, exactly. It is all about looking critically at our leaders and examining their motives, where they're playing hardball with our democracies. There's going to be a judgment made, because we've got the Seven of Swords here, which is the theft and betrayal. It's all about this month looking at our leaders and examining information that's coming forward that we might have ignored in the past. We're actually going to be jumping on that, of course, because we're fearing this situation. Wow, what insightful cards. Now, collectively, you can translate this to your individual circumstances at some level. These are the general conditions that are impacting on us at this time. The fear of being chained to the wrongdoing, the fear of losing what we've got This is all about freedom, this Devil card, in one way or another. It's about freedom of thought. It's about freedom to choose. It's about freedom from those that would seek to enslave us in some way. Interesting. Okay, the outcome card. We've got the Empress. That's an interesting card here to come forward, because it is talking about, I'll just bring the laptop down so you can see these cards. It is talking about what is, this particular High Priestess is holding the Torah in her hands. This is about information that has been hidden in the past, coming forward in a revelationary way. It's also about our subconscious intention to really look at our leadership and demand more and demand better. We're moving, I'll pull those numerology cards, but we're moving. This is a very visible month to see that we're moving toward the ending of a cycle and the beginning of another. This is talking about our leaders. This is talking about the ending of a cycle with this 10 of Swords. If I was a leader anywhere, including in a workplace, or even the heads of families, those that are dominant in any sort of leadership position, doesn't have to be governments. If leaders aren't doing the right thing, they're going to be called out. And we've got the Knight of Wands. So there's a passion and an inspirational action to this card, getting to the truth. Now, what's at the base of the pack here? We've got the Six of Wands, which is a victory card. We've got the Queen of Cups, which is a revelationary, a supportive card, bringing forward information which will support new systems, new structures, new times. And we've got the Angel of Balance, the Temperance card. So September starts, as I've always said, I guess. September is the start of an energy that will culminate around the end of the year. I do feel that the 2020 New Year energies, which really start to manifest around, well, they're manifesting all the time, but as we move through December and into the new year, I feel that this will be a culmination. This month is a mini, almost a snapshot of what's to come, of these new cycles. So we're ending a current cycle and moving to a new cycle, and that is amplifying our leadership at the moment. It's amplified our view on our leadership and our judgment on our leadership right across the world, not just in America, which is, so visibly in our face, but also in the UK and the European countries as well. Interesting. I could go a little bit further into those authoritarian regimes, but I won't. I'll leave that for later. Suffice to say that September is the start of the ending. It's almost an acceleration of the ending of an old cycle. So I'm going to just pull some numerology cards just to see about what sort of cards are coming up for us at the individual and the collective level. Okay, September. I'll just make some room for myself. September energies. What do we need to know about these? About September? What do we need to know? Let me just freshen this deck up. It's been a while since I've used it. September energies. Where are we in the cycle of things? We'll call it that. Where are we in the cycle of things? September, very key month for what is coming. New balance is coming, which will start to manifest quite strongly in December as we move through to January 2020, January, February, the new year. Okay, more balance, bringing balance back into things. What are the energies numerology wise of September 2019 with the new moon in Virgo and the full moon in Pisces? What are the general energies coming forward for September? Okay, 3 cards, I think. Let's see. So we've got number 67. That is healing, and that is also lessons. But it's also, we've got a phrase here, physical activity. I feel that you could see protests as well during September. There's been quite a lot said. Why aren't we in the streets? Why aren't we protesting? Well, I think there will be. And this is also the action. So taking what you see, what you psychically feel and see, and bringing that forward and communicating that in some way. But it's not a vague, um, conversation that you're going to be using. You're actually going to be physically demonstrating in some way. And we've got Pride. They're lovely cards. We've got 1 and number 19, 1 and 9. Of course, this is the individual, and this is moving toward the end of a cycle. When I look at that card, I feel again that we're activating. Well, I mean, it's using this word pride, but how low have we gone? How low have we gone in the last couple of years in our allowing those that make decisions for us, our governments, our systems? How far have we allowed them to be eroded? So this is actually now an action card again, and really recognizing that aspect of how low has the bar been, and do we want that? Do we really want that? Because number 3, creativity, this is our solar plexus chakra, the seat of awareness and wisdom. The number 3, creativity. We're actually going to be taking action now, really to, to lift that bar up. And we're going to be doing it in a variety of ways. It's no coincidence that we have climate warriors. Greta appearing. She's sailing around on a boat. I think she's doing quite significant trips worldwide, and appearing before us. This lovely early teenage years. She's not old. We've got a real opportunity now to look at things creatively, to step outside the boxes, to step outside the prisons that allow us to be chained in some way, that we lose our freedom, our freedom to be creative and to live it creatively and deliberately. We are taking back, is what I want to say. We are starting to take back the reins, and we will thankfully start to move forward, I feel, in a deliberate way. So we're reclaiming our freedom. So base of the energy, we have. I'm just laughing, but I'll wait till I get to this card. Base of the energy readings: a number 57, a 5, and a 7. 5, as you know, is change and expansion. 7, is the card for lessons learned. These can often be spiritual lessons as well. We've got teaching and learning. This is all about lessons, but it's also about what we're passing on as well, and what we're passing on to our children. And we've got happy endings with this 9 and 3. This creativity showing up again. We've got a lot of 9s, a lot of 5s, a lot of 7s. This is the happy ending. We are moving toward the end of that cycle, and we've got surrender, a 9 and a 1, adding up to a 10. This is surrendering the old and moving forward into this new cycle. So 9s, endings, moving toward the endings of those cycles. 7s, learning the lessons. Some of them have been spiritual. 1s, the individual. It's not. Yes, it's about the collective, but it's because what is the collective? But masses of individuals coming together, like-minded, with the same intention. How do we move forward when enough of us want to move forward? And 3s on the ground. This is activating our creation energy. which is moving from one cycle and which will inform the start of the new. September, a very, very, very key month, and it is the start of something. If I was a leader, a global leader, I would say the times are starting to work against them. And if they don't do the right thing, they're going to be well and truly called out. And September is a month where all of this starts, or it hasn't just started, but where it's very visible. All right, I'll leave it there, viewers. I hope you enjoyed that session. I did want to look at the big picture, not just any one politician, not just any one situation, but to have a look at that larger vision to see where we were actually at. We know we're moving to an end of the cycle. What does September bring forward? So have yourself a great weekend, and I will be back again with another reading soon. Thank you.